everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am very excited to be doing another macrame video for you today. I am going to be making a boho macrame wall hanging. If it's your first time making macrame, this is a great project for you. Let's not waste any time and let's jump right on into this thing. For the supplies, you are going to need a stick that you'll see over my shoulder. This is actually driftwood that I found on our beach nearby. If you don't want to find a stick or something like that, you can of course use a wooden dowel from Home Depot. For my cord, this is some 5mm cord I got on Amazon. It is from, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but Crafteza, and I will link it down below. What I love about it is that the ends you can easily unravel to kind of fray. It creates a really nice finish and lays very nicely. It's just a much softer cord than I have been using. Yeah, it's from Amazon, so I will link everything down below for you guys. You will also need a pair of scissors. The first thing you're going to do is cut a piece of string and tie it on one side to the other. We are going to change this at the very end. We're going to drill holes and string the string through and tie it off. But for now, this is what we're going to work with. My piece of driftwood is 1 foot 2 inches. So if you guys are looking for something around that length or a wooden dowel, you'll want it about 1 foot 2 inches. Of course, it can be longer, but that is what mine is. Next, you're going to cut 14 pieces of cord. Each cord will be 12 feet 8 inches long. I measure out one piece and then I use that as my guide to cut out the rest. Now, if you've never done macrame before, I am going to recommend that you pause this video and go head over to my 3 basic macrame knot tutorial, because that is going to give you guys a really good foundation for everything. If you haven't watched that, go on over and watch that first and then head back here. We are going to fold each of our cords in half and use our lark's head knot to loop it on to the rope. Once I've connected them all, the way I connect my lark's head knot, I like to go ahead and flip it around so that the knots show on this side. Sorry for the change of outfit, hair. It's the next day. Since you guys have watched my 3 basic macrame knot tutorial by now, hopefully, you guys should know how to do the double half hitch, and that is the knot that we're going to start with. We're going to start by taking our far left cord, and basically we are going to do our double half hitch all the way across. Sorry about the angle of the shot in this video. You can't fully see the double half hitch, but you will see it again later on. For our next step, we are going to use our square knot that you guys should know really well by now. We're going to start by leaving our 2 end cords off on either side. To begin, we're already going to remove these for now. We will then begin with our 4 cords doing our square knot, and we are going to slowly create our V, each time leaving out 2 more cords as we go. If you guys aren't familiar with the square knot, it is one of the most basic macrame knots, and I go over it fully in my 3 basic macrame knot tutorial video, so head on over there and check it out. When you start on the second row, again, make sure you leave out 2 more cords on either end and then work with the next 4. You can see you kind of combine the 2 knots at the top, and you'll continue this the whole way across. Again, each time you just leave 2 more strings out on either end. Right now we only have 2 more rows to do. So if you find yourself confused, it's really helpful that actually when you start making it yourself and practicing, that's when things can really make sense. I find that I get confused just watching things, but when you're doing it yourself, I think things can make a lot more sense. Now that we have this part finished, we are going to use those 2 chords that we left out, well actually just the one on the far end, and we're going to use our double half hitch, the same knot we did up top, and we are going to line our square knots starting on either side and meeting in the middle. Here is the much better shot of the double half hitch knot that I promised you. You basically are just looping the string over and through, and you do each chord twice to create the double half hitch. And again, I do go over everything thoroughly in my 3 basic macrame knot tutorial video. I'm sure you guys are bored of hearing that, but there it is again. You should eventually get to this place where the 2 are meeting in the middle, and you can actually choose either side to tie them off. I usually tend to do it over top this way, but honestly it doesn't matter as long as you do one more knot to connect them. Next step in this process is very similar to my first macrame tutorial in that we are going to basically drop down. We're going to start about an inch or so down. It's not really an exact science. And then head over to the side. We're going to create another V with our double half hitch. So something like this. Personally think one of the hardest things is getting these 2 knots to be the same height. So if you guys don't get it perfect, you can always undo it and redo it as many times till you feel like they're even to start. And again, if it's not perfect, I feel like macrame sometimes is full of small imperfections, and that is just a part of something that's handmade, at least for me. Now that I've completed this next V, what I'm going to do is do square knots, but this time I am starting from the very end. Here you can see my first row of square knots and just line them up right up against the V. For the second row, make sure you leave out those 2 chords on either end so that you're combining the square knots. For that third row, you do use all the chords again, and you are going to do another line of the double half hitch right underneath it. So here you can kind of see me tying, creating that V again. What we're going to do next is we're going to basically mirror this down below. So it'll kind of look like an X. So to do this, continuing our double half hitch straight across, this one will continue this way. And again, we're just mirroring that top image, so we're doing 3 rows of the square knot. You're going to take the middle knot and you're going to use the right piece and do a double half hitch knot. From here, you're using these 2 chords to go down. That way it is connected at the top. Now that we've finished that, we are going to end with one more triangle again in the mirror position. So we kind of need to figure out however far this distance began. I again kind of eyeball it, and we are going to start right in the middle with the exact type of knot we did up here. We will now fill this in with our square knots, just like up here, and then end with one last line straight across. But for now, we need to begin with our square knots, and to do this, we will start right at the top.
Now, since we're kind of working in reverse, starting at the middle, this time we're going to be adding 2 chords each time that we add a row. Well, and I guess when I say 2, I hope you guys know I mean 2 on either end, so 4 chords total. So, yep, you can see I grabbed 2 more to work with the next 4 there.
Remember, just at the top, we also left out the 2 when we did our square knots up here. So down here, we also need to just make sure we don't complete it all the way to the very edge. We are going to leave out those 2 again. And the last thing we're going to do is complete our finishing line straight across.
Is the next day again. But next we are going to drill some holes through our driftwood, and then we are going to string the string through it.
To drill our holes through our driftwood, we are using a 1/4 size drill bit, and I have marked an X on either end, and basically you just drill a hole right on through. Now that we have our holes drilled into our driftwood, I undid my ties at the end, and I think it's easier to just get some tape. So just get some tape and tape off the end. That way you can push the cord through the holes really easily. So I'm going to tape them off and then push them through. So I've tied it, and then I just trim off the excess. And the thing I save for very last is to trim the bottom. So I decided, you know, I thought about doing a V or what, there's lots of options. I could leave it as is, but what I'm going to do is basically pick my shortest string length and cut straight across. So sometimes what I'll do is I just take a piece of tape and I tape right across. This just helps me get a more even line, and I know I'm not eyeballing it as I go. Here is the finished product. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up. As always, you guys can subscribe. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. I have linked the cord for you guys. It was my first time working with this cord, official macrame cord. I've always worked with cotton clothesline, which this macrame cord made a world of a difference. So soft, so easy to use. It hangs so nicely. So check that out. I got it on Amazon. For more of my everyday life, feel free to follow me on Instagram at EmilyFaith22. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye!